Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about challenges for IoT. So there are totally 6 major challenges for the IoT or to build the IoT applications. And the first is a security. Now we all know that security is one of the major challenge for any applications. Here security is on everyone's mind today as cyber hackers continue to invent ways to access backend system and hack into networks where they don't belong. So security is a major concern for any IoT application. Suppose we are building our IoT applications for any corporate company. So at that time, security for the private data of that company is a very important. So if you have a wired system, it is simply much less accessible by outside forces. But if you are using the wireless connection, so at that time, the more chances to hack the system. So that is a major challenge for any IoT application. And here we are storing all the data over the cloud. So at that time, the security is a major concern. Therefore, one of the challenge with moving to an IoT solution is that companies potentially open themselves up to more risk unless they have a very sound security strategy in place. So that is why the security is the major challenge in the IoT. The second is awareness. Here the lack of awareness from community arises when there was a perception what is importance of connecting the device such as lights, clock, refrigerator and other home appliances to the internet. So here we need to understand that why we are connecting devices, why we are connecting devices into the IoT and what is the meaning of that. So that is the major thing we need to understand before we'll implement any IoT system. The lack of awareness also emerges from the industry sector where not many enterprises knows about this technology, or even if they know, most enterprises still face problems will be leading this initiative. Suppose industries wants to go with the IoT solution. At that time the awareness is very important. And if the industry is aware with this, but here the problem is no one is taking the initiatives. So leaders, in this case CIOs, should start exploring use cases related to the IoT that are suitable to be applied in their organizations towards digitization and focus on specific business goal, having best roadmap to create a significant value rather than talking about the IoT in general. So that is the challenge in the IoT, that awareness is a very important when we are implementing the IoT system. Third is the interoperability. Interoperability become one of the major challenge for development of IoT system because all the objects being linked and integrated were heterogeneous. It means that all components involved were provided by different vendors and independently developed, had diverse communication protocol and utilized different areas. Now suppose we are implementing the home automation system. At that time our refrigerator, tube light, bulb and any other home appliances are connected together. So at that time all that devices are from different brands, from different categories. Yes, so they have a different characteristic and we need to integrate those devices and we need to communicate, we need to provide a communication between them. So at that time the interoperability is a major concern. So achieving the interoperability is a ritual for interconnecting multiple things together across different communication networks. IoT's purpose is to connecting billions of devices such as sensors and smart devices through internet and communicate with each other in a way or another. So that is one concern or the challenge for IoT. And next is a business model. So the IoT will have a great impact on the economy by transferring many enterprises into a digital business, enables business by automating the manual process and facilitating a new business model. So the problem that still happen now is how industry can generate a service revenue from their IoT solution. So that is the one question, that how we will implement our business model, that the companies will get the the proper revenue from that IoT solution. So many companies are jumping into the opportunity of building the IoT product without a clear monetization strategy. So at that time, that solution will become the burden. So that is why we need to properly implement or properly design our business model to monetize from the IoT solution. Next is the connectivity. Connectivity plays a vital role in transport of data from sensors store them into IoT backend, and thus automation to provide a feedback to actuator or application. Connectivity includes communication with IoT device, reliable delivery across the networks, implementation of various protocols and translation between protocols. Here, for IoT, the connectivity is a major thing. We can say that without connectivity, we can't build the IoT applications. So that is why connectivity is the important term in the IoT. So one of the challenges in choosing the technology of connectivity is the need for power consumption. Let's say a smart home where some IoT device sends the signals and data all the time that take more power resources. So for efficiency, it takes the longest battery life with a lower power consumption. So the key of connectivity in IoT is low data rate and low power consumption, but no one size fits all the connectivity requirement from IoT network. So that is why the connectivity is the major challenge in the IoT. Next is a big data. So sensor from many devices simultaneously and continuously generates a huge amounts of data referred as the big data. IoT will be dealing with large volume and different varieties of data that pose a significant challenge. So those large generated data needs big data capabilities. Collecting, preparing and analyzing this fragmented data are not easy. The volume of data can be increased at any time and very complex, and even with the unstructured formats. So that is why big data becomes a more challenging in IT system implementation. Now we all know that we are getting more and more data at each and every second. So to store that data, to handle that data is a very complex task. After that, to pre-process data, because the data is in multiple formats, so we need to convert the data into a proper format. Then we have to apply some analysis algorithm on that, and that process is a very complex because the size of data is too big. So that is why the big data is one of the challenge of IoT. So these are the challenges that we need to consider when we are building the IoT application. So that's it. Thank you so much.